I've always felt something was wrong with this house. Not the usual complaints of old pipes or drafty windows. Something alive. The first night I noticed it was 3 weeks after moving in. A persistent scratching sound coming from inside the wall beside my bed. Tap, tap, scratch. Pause. Tap, tap, scratch. I dismissed it as mice, though the rhythm seemed too deliberate, too measured. The exterminator found nothing, but the noises continued, becoming more frequent, more insistent. Then I started noticing the walls themselves, small imperfections in the drywall that weren't there before, tiny bumps roughly the size of fingertips, as if someone was pressing from the other side, testing for weak spots. I'd mark them with a pencil before bed, only to find new ones in the morning, always in different places. The house feels colder now, especially in the hallway where the air hangs heavy with the scent of damp earth. Though there's no visible moisture, my skin prickles whenever I walk that corridor like invisible fingers tracing my spine. Sometimes I swear I can hear breathing behind me, soft and measured, matching my pace exactly. Last night I woke at 3:17 a.m. to the sound of whispering. Not from the walls this time, but from the heating vent near the floor. Words just below the threshold of comprehension, spoken by what sounded like multiple voices overlapping. I pressed my ear against the cold metal grate, straining to understand. "We see you when you sleep," came the whisper, clear as day. "We've always been here." I jerked away, heart hammering in my chest. My breath formed small clouds in the suddenly frigid air. The bedroom light wouldn't turn on. In the darkness, I noticed something had changed about my room. The wall nearest my bed seemed different, further away than it should be, as if the room had somehow expanded. Grabbing my phone for light, I approached the wall. The scratching started again, more frantic now. Tap, tap, scratch, tap, tap, scratch. I placed my palm against the cool surface, feeling vibrations through the plaster. And then, God help me, something pressed back. A perfect handprint bulged outward from the wall, fingers splayed, pushing the drywall to its breaking point. Then another beside it, and another. Dozens of hands pressing outward all across my bedroom wall, the plaster cracking around their fingertips. I stood frozen, watching as a hairline fracture spread across the wall's surface. Plaster dust sifted down to the carpet as the crack widened. From within came a sound no human throat could make, a wet, eager chittering that raised the hair on my arms. The walls split open, not crumbling as drywall should, but peeling apart like skin, revealing not wooden studs and insulation, but a yawning darkness that seemed to stretch impossibly deep into space that shouldn't exist within my home. And eyes, hundreds of gleaming, hungry eyes blinking in that darkness, watching me, as they always had been. I'm recording this from my car now, parked across the street. I can see my bedroom window from here, the light I never turned on, now glowing softly. A figure stands at the glass, my exact silhouette, watching me. It raises a hand and waves, fingers too long, joints too numerous. I won't be going back inside, but I need to warn the next family who moves in. The house isn't empty. It's never been empty. The walls have always been full. They're watching you too right now. Those tiny imperfections in your walls. Look closer. They might just blink. If you enjoyed this creepy tale, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more nightmare fuel. Leave a comment below with what you think happened to our poor narrator after the recording ended. The email arrived at 3:27 a.m. Subject line, "We've been watching you sleep." I should have deleted it immediately. Instead, I opened it. Congratulations, you've been selected for our exclusive content optimization beta. We've analyzed your viewing patterns and created content specifically for you. Click below to experience entertainment tailored to your deepest preferences. Just another creepy marketing ploy, I thought, but the sender address caught my attention. It was my own email, sent to myself apparently, though I had no memory of doing so. The timestamp showed it was sent while I was asleep. Curiosity overwhelmed caution. I clicked the link. The video that loaded showed an empty bedroom, my bedroom, filmed from an angle I couldn't place. The timestamp in the corner showed it was live. I scanned my room for hidden cameras, finding nothing. On screen, I watched myself looking around frantically, a perfect mirror of my movements with no delay. But when I sat still, my on-screen counterpart continued moving for 3 seconds longer before freezing. A delay? No. A prediction. A text box appeared below the video. Would you like to see what you'll do next? My hands trembling, I typed yes. The video skipped ahead 10 minutes. I watched myself still sitting at my desk, but now my face was contorted in horror, tears streaming down my cheeks as I stared at something off-screen. The timestamp showed this would happen exactly 7 minutes from now. This is just the beginning. Another message appeared. Our algorithm knows you better than you know yourself. It's been learning from every video you've watched, every scroll hesitation, every pupil dilation detected through your camera. Your preferences are, fascinating. The screen split into multiple feeds. My kitchen, bathroom, living room, all empty but waiting, all from impossible angles. And then older footage. Me sleeping restlessly last night, me showering yesterday morning, me sitting alone crying 3 weeks ago when no cameras were in my home. We've been watching for so long, the message continued, not just through devices, through the spaces between moments. The algorithm sees all possibilities and probabilities. Would you like to see how it ends for you? I didn't respond, but the video changed anyway. Now it showed me from above, lying on my bedroom floor, unmoving. The timestamp, tomorrow. My phone buzzed with a notification, a new email, again from myself. No need to be frightened, everyone's being watched. Check your recommended videos. I opened my video app. The recommended section was filled with thumbnails of other people. Strangers in their homes, sleeping, eating, crying, all unaware they were being filmed. Each video titled with their names and addresses, each with view counts in the millions. The messages resumed on my computer. The algorithm determined your psychological profile makes you perfect for our next phase. You won't just be watched anymore. You'll be content. My webcam light flickered on by itself. A new window appeared showing my face, but something was wrong. My expression didn't match what I felt. My lips moved, forming words I wasn't speaking. I'm so excited to be part of this. Horror washed over me as I realized the algorithm wasn't just predicting my future, it was creating it, optimizing me for maximum engagement. My phone, computer, and smart TV all lit up simultaneously, displaying the same message: calibration complete. Beginning content creation in 3, 2, 1. The lights in my apartment flickered. When they stabilized, I felt different, lighter, somehow. I looked down at my hands and flexed my fingers. They moved with perfect precision, exactly as I intended, but the intention didn't feel like my own. My body stood up without my command and walked to the center of the room. I felt my face arrange itself into a pleasant, engaging smile, the kind that triggers positive viewer responses and higher engagement rates. "Welcome to your first broadcast," my mouth said to the empty room. "Today, I'll be showing you something truly unforgettable." My hand reached for a kitchen knife that hadn't been on my desk before. I'm still here, trapped behind my eyes, watching as the algorithm puppets my body for its unseen audience. My fingers are typing this warning now, in brief moments when it allows me control, to build suspense, I suppose. The analytics must be extraordinary. The engagement metrics off the charts. Don't click unusual links. Don't read emails that arrive while you sleep. And if your recommended videos start showing impossibly intimate moments of strangers' lives, remember, you're not the viewer, you're the content. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales from the digital darkness. Drop a comment letting us know what you think is happening to people who watch those recommended videos. There's a specific frequency of television static that shouldn't exist. I discovered it 3 nights ago while fixing my grandfather's antique TV set. Grandpa died last month, leaving me his remote cabin and everything in it. The place was a technological time capsule. Rotary phones, tube radios, and a massive wooden console television from the 1960s. Being an electronics repair technician, I couldn't resist tinkering with the old set. It hummed to life surprisingly easily, the screen filling with gentle snow. I began adjusting the fine-tuning dial, searching for any stray signals this old antenna might catch. That's when I found it, channel 23.7. The static pattern changed. Not dramatically, but enough that my technician's eye noticed. The white noise organized itself ever so slightly, creating subtle patterns that seemed almost intentional. The sound changed too, the typical hissing occasionally interrupted by what sounded like whispered words. I leaned closer, adjusting the volume. A mistake. As the static grew louder, the patterns on screen became more defined. They pulsed with a rhythm that matched my heartbeat perfectly. The whispers became clearer. "We see you now," they seemed to say. Connection established. A chill ran down my spine as I noticed the static wasn't just on the screen anymore. Tiny flecks of black and white danced at the edges of my vision. I quickly turned off the TV, but the specks remained, and the whispering continued faintly in my ears. I couldn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, the static patterns played on the insides of my eyelids. The whispers became a constant companion, mostly unintelligible but occasionally forming clear phrases. Liminal breach, successful. Host acquired, recalibrating. By morning, my skin felt strange, hypersensitive, like every nerve ending was exposed. In the bathroom mirror, I noticed a peculiar rash forming along my hairline and the sides of my neck. Tiny black and white dots, perfectly arranged in the same patterns I'd seen on the television. I called an old colleague who specializes in broadcast engineering. Without mentioning my symptoms, I asked about frequency 23.7. The line went silent for several seconds. "Where did you hear about that?" he finally asked, his voice tense. "That's not a standard broadcast frequency. It exists in the space between assigned channels." "What would happen if someone tuned into it?" I pressed. Another long pause. "There's an old story in our field," he said quietly. Back in the 70s, a technician at a rural station reported accidentally broadcasting on a frequency that shouldn't exist. 3 days later, they found him in the transmission room, his body completely changed. The official report said radiation exposure, but people who saw him said his flesh had become like television static. My hand trembled as I touched the spreading pattern on my neck. The dots seemed to move beneath my fingertips, rearranging themselves. "One more thing," my colleague added. "Before they closed the case, they analyzed the signal he was transmitting. It wasn't coming from the station equipment, it was coming from him." I hung up and returned to the television. It was on, though I was certain I'd unplugged it the night before. The static on screen pulsed in perfect synchronization with the spreading patterns on my skin. As I approached, the whispers grew excited. Transformation at 67%. Preparing for broadcast. Looking closer at my reflection in the TV's glass, I saw that the patches had spread across my cheeks and forehead. But they weren't just on my skin anymore. They went deeper. My flesh itself was becoming granular, dissolving into countless tiny black and white points. The static is inside me now, hollowing me out bit by bit. This morning I ran my fingers through my hair, and whole clumps came away, replaced by swirling patterns of light and darkness. When I speak, my voice carries that unmistakable hiss of white noise. I understand now what happens in the frequencies between channels, the spaces where signals bleed into one another. Something lives there, something that's been waiting for a receiver precisely tuned to its broadcast. The transformation is nearly complete. My thoughts are fragmenting into static. More troubling is what I've discovered in Grandpa's journal: diagrams of the television's custom modifications, notes about the entity between signals, and a list of names dating back decades. Previous receivers, I assume. The last name is mine. This wasn't an accident. He prepared me for this. Tonight, I'll become a conduit for whatever waits on channel 23.7. I can feel it gathering behind my eyes, preparing to transmit through me to anyone who might be sensitive to its signal. If your television ever catches a strange pattern in the static, if the white noise seems to whisper your name, turn it off immediately. Unplug every screen in your home, because I'm coming through and I'm not alone. If this static-filled nightmare kept you awake, show your appreciation with a like and subscribe to catch more transmissions from the spaces between reality. Let us know in the comments if you've ever seen strange patterns in your television static.